any good supplement company has their own gym. So this is our work in progress training facility. The floor is not in yet, that's coming, and as well as some more equipment and some mirrors and whatnot. But all VPX Redline employees are encouraged to come in and work out. And we're allowed to do that on our lunch hour, after work, before work. It's pretty much open for everybody. This is 2,000 square feet, big rectangular room, lots of weights, more coming. So when you guys come down to visit, come in and catch a workout with us. This is my favorite line in the entire building here, where we make our bars. Our bars are pressed, they're not cooked. They're some of the best in the world. And this flavor right here, pumpkin, is the bomb. And you're in luck because they're making them right here. We'll get you to eat one right off the line. That big vat down there holds what we call the dough. It gets dumped in up there and gets mushed into this extruding machine here. And they come out into a pre-measured slice and are chopped off. And as you can see, this machine is very dangerous. It can chop your hand off. But these are fresh, extruded bars right off the line. And they come down here. Can we just grab one? These are the freshest, best bars you'll ever eat in your life.
I want to eat.
Here, you gotta have one. Yeah, pumpkin.
Wow.
Yeah. Now from there, it's the labeling machine where they make a little package.
This is like eating cookie dough right out of the...
It's incredible. So this machine folds the wrapper and to a perfect little cylinder. The bar's right underneath it. It wraps it around it and it comes through here. Heat sealed. Out the other end. This right here is a metal detector. Every bar that we make, because we use machinery to make it, is x-rayed to make, or detected to make sure there's any metal in it, so you don't bite into a piece of metal.
Smart machine.
Right. Then right here, they're boxed.
How many bars are made here per day? A typical run?
About 5,000 a day of each flavor. When you buy a bar from VPX, it's guaranteed to be less than 48 hours old. They go right into the boxes, sealed up, packed in cases.
What's the composition of these bars?
Composition of these bars is all natural, uncooked, pressed ingredients. We use peanut butter, honey, oats, various flavorings, all natural.
How much protein per bar?
30 grams of protein per bar.
That's zero impact carbs?
Zero impact carbs, which means no impact to the insulin. So, in fact, we had a doctor test these bars who was a diabetic, and this was the only bar he could eat that did not make his insulin move at all. This is where we make our 2-inch Power Rush shots. So you see on the little shots we make over here. This is basically a miniature version of what you saw in the other facility. The bottles come in, they're stood up, they come down. They get labeled. Here we fill them first and label them later, whereas the other place they were labeled first and filled later. But this is Power Rush. Right here, the tops get screwed on. They come through here into the labeler. Once again, all our labels we make in-house. These are our own graphics. Heat shrink. Come around outside of here, all around the corner, and over to, they are gathered up over here so they can be packaged in these little packages, little boxes, and we ship 12 to a box. And that's all done by hand.
These are concentrated shots as opposed to the red line drink.
Right. These are, this is peach mango, 7 hour. There's 2 servings in each container. To our competition's 1, so you get 2 for 1 for the same price. Okay, you guys want to increase your IGF-1? This is where we keep the Hemojects. Check this out.
This is a refrigerated quaffer here.
Yeah, that's Marcus Rule's daily supply right there.
Jack, let's talk about, we talked about you sleeping on the floor. Let's move forward now in time. You're at this new facility. I came, and not only is it a new facility, it's facilities, because I had to go to 3 different locations. Explain to me the enormity of the empire that you have right now.
First of all, I hope you got your cardio in today, going through those facilities.
Yes, I did. I did quite a bit.
Well, the really cool thing was, and it's definitely a blessing from God, a lot of people go, oh, Jack, you should be proud of yourself. And it's, and I got to put this on tape, if it was Jack doing it, Jack was sleeping on an air mattress in the Vita House. And so it's a God thing. It's beyond your wildest imagination that something like this can happen. So we went from a 700 square foot store, and we moved almost every year because of the rapid growth until the point we are now, where the buildings you just toured, one's 92,000 square feet, one's 95,000 square feet, and the first one was 17,000. So roughly about 210,000 square feet. I mean, that's big enough to have 2 football games.
What gave you the gall, the gumption to say, you know what? Not only do I want to make my own drinks, but I'm going to make them here myself in my own facility. That had to take a lot of balls at some point, because I'm sure it was a very expensive decision to make.
Well, it was kind of an easy decision in the sense that, and it's a much slower road to the top when you do it yourself instead of sourcing it out. But here it is. If you study raw materials like I do, and active ingredients, 3 to 4 hours a night, maybe 3 or 4 days a week for 15 years, you have all these special raw ingredients. You develop a formula. And if you go to an outside manufacturer, they'll sign an NDA. They'll promise not to knock you off. But I've had at least 100 people come to me and go, Jack, will you make me a drink? I go, what do you want? Oh, we just want red line with a different label. I go, no. I go, we're not going to knock ourselves off. I go, you got to think of your own. So the same thing would happen to an outside manufacturer.
So you were afraid that they were going to steal your formulas.
Yeah, and that's what we weren't willing to give that up, and so we took that slower road. And you know how the supplement industry, as soon as somebody comes out with it, everybody's just waiting, like they're reactive, and so we're proactive. We try to stay 5 to 10 years ahead of everybody else, and then in the process try to at least create a gap between people knocking our products off.
How many drinks do you produce a year? How many bottles of red line?
This year, probably about bottles of red line, probably about 40 million.
40 million bottles of red line.
Yes.
Do you know the enormity of that number? Does it mind-boggle you? I mean, you're like probably one of the most used, the most consumed energy drinks on the market.
In our world, we're number 1 in GNC, Vitamin Shoppe, Bally's, 24 Hour Fitness, which are the biggest gym chains and biggest health food store chains in the world. But now in mainstream beverage, all of a sudden, you go from being the top dog to maybe number 5 or 6 is the position we're fighting for. What we want is that elite top 3 where there's Red Bull, Monster, and Rockstar. And in some areas, like there's an Exxon Mobil down here, it's really cool because we have 12 facings of red line. And between Monster and Red Bull, which are the top 2 brands, both $3 billion companies, we have more facings than they do combined. That's not obviously in all stores, but that's how we want it to be to compete with the top dogs. I mean, it's kind of fun.
But you also have the most innovative formula. Most of these other energy drinks are just caffeine and water.
Right, but these guys are powerful marketers, and Monster does a great job of marketing, so does Red Bull, and that's kind of what you're fighting against.
Is that how you decided to maybe get into I know you have an IndyCar now. Is that what made you start getting into a little bit more mainstream America as opposed to just the bodybuilding world?
Yeah, you break out. Like IndyCar has 300 million viewers worldwide. About 200,000 go to the race. 2.5 million come to the city that weekend. So, yeah, in order to go mainstream. And then that gives us the money to do crazy stuff like this, where we can hire more scientists and we can hire freaks like John Romano and probably bring you on board soon.
You know, that's an interesting thing you bring up, because a lot of people, a lot of companies, they earn money and they take the money and they buy big, huge houses and crazy cars. How much would you say of your profit that you put back into the company?
100%.
You don't take anything out of it?
I take my salary, which a lot of times in the company for the first 10 years, there was somebody making more money than I was because I had to have a key individual in. No matter what, all the stuff you've seen, you can't ever mistake the fact that your employees are your number 1 resource. They're bigger than Redline, they're better than Redline, they're bigger than VPX. Jack Welch from GE said, if you don't have the bright people on the bus, you can't go to the Super Bowl. This is my nephew, Anthony. He was studying to be an MD, just like Dave Palumbo here was. And then he decided to What, get a life?
Get a life, yes.
Work for you.
So you could see, what are you doing here? I see E. coli, coliform, salmonella.
We're sending these out to the micro lab.
We were just talking about micros, and it's a really big thing here, and a lot of supplement companies don't do their due diligence, and people get sick on supplements because of that. It costs a lot of money to do it right, put it that way. We're adding nitrogen to extend the shelf life and keep these moisture. The big thing we're always trying to do is extend shelf life of the bar. Very hard to do because it's almost like a baked good, but you're taking a baked good and you're making it shelf stable. So we're always experimenting, shooting nitrogen into the container. So you could see that this puffed up, and what that is, that's nitrogen gas in there, and it'll greatly extend shelf life. Let's talk about the HPLC. So we have one here, we have one here, we have another one at the thing. These guys keep wanting me to buy more and more HPLC machines, high performance liquid chromatography. We use them for several different reasons. Tell them why. Quantitative and qualitative analysis.
It's usually used for the assay, for the purity testings. Whatever ingredients or raw material we add, we have to check it in a right amount. They are present, they don't degrade. We check the impurities and everything in that.
So all your products are verified by lab analysis.
Yes.
Right, and one of the big things we've been working on is an aqueous stable creatine, and a very difficult thing. And so we created a covalently bonded peptide. We have a 60-page patent on it, but our patent's not a patent just written like a lot of people do. We do the research, we document what we do, so it's a valid patent, and the Patent and Trademark Office is getting stricter and stricter, not only in America, but the European patent trademark and all over the world. So you have to actually have a real valid patent now, or they're rejecting a lot of them. Thank goodness, because there's a lot of garbage out there, especially from people in our industry. So this is qualitative analysis,
Yes.
and let's go over to the quantitative with this diamond tip machine here. Explain what this is, Deepak.
That's the FTIR, what is known as Fourier transform infrared spectroscopy. What it does is, any of our raw materials, every raw material has a chemical structures having chemical groups and everything attached to it. So what this instrument does, tell us which groups and which atoms are attached to each other. So and this tells us if there is any impurities or anything present in it. This is just an identification testing.
So you have double testing, essentially.
Yes.
Right.
All the raw material has to go through qualitative and quantitative analysis.
And you need all this to validate. There's a lot of fraud going on in our industry. We had a guy sell us $500,000 worth of fake Hoodia. We had a very successful product called Diatex. Vitamin Shop bought 85,000 bottles when they saw the thing on Leslie Stahl on 60 Minutes because we were telling them about it. They didn't believe us. They saw that. They go, how many bottles do you have run? We said 85,000. They go, we want it all so GNC can't get it. What happened was then we got $500,000 worth of fake Hoodia. The product no longer worked. If you would drink this drink or take the pills, you literally couldn't eat for a day. Serotonin was up. You could start swinging punches at my face, and I just stare at you because it's like you're on Prozac. Really cool stuff. It's kind of strange how that all works for dieting and keeping your head straight and everything like that. But it ruined that product Diatex because people go, oh, you got your money back. But big deal, we got our 500 grand back. We had to pull all that product off the market. We didn't have to, but we're very ethical, and we weren't going to let people that were used to getting a great product, be fooled by this. So it cost us a lot of money, set us back another $1.5 million. But that's life in the big city in the supplement world. Okay, we have a bunch of different scales in this place, from scales that weigh entire pallets. And so in other words, let's say there's 500 bottles of Meltdown on a pallet. We weigh it, we know down to the thing. So if the shipper steals a few, UPS shippers or FedEx, let's say they take a few bottles of Meltdown, we know that when that was shipped out, the weight and how many, if it weighed 500 pounds, let's say, we know that there's exactly, let's say, 1,700 bottles of Meltdown in there because each one has a specific weight. So those are the huge scales out in the warehouse. But then you come into here and you have super sensitive scales like this one that you even have to block the AC from coming in, because if you get some wind here, let's see, you can see the scale moving just from my hand waving and putting wind on it. And so then you put it in, close it, and then you get your true weight. You see how it's zeroed back out. And then coming around here, what do you have? We're continuously tasting samples all day, every day. We have a rule at VPX. that no matter who's here, a billion-dollar company can be here like GNC, Quick Trip, Vitamin Shop, Vitamin World, Walmart, it doesn't matter. Research and development never stops. They are allowed to come into the meeting, anybody from this lab, and tell people to taste samples, test samples or whatever, and be careful, Dave, or we'll try to draw your blood. So what is this, Nora?
It's stevia.
You mentioned stevia earlier. This is a tea we're developing sweetened with stevia. It has vitamin D, which is fat soluble, and omega-3s, which are fat soluble. We water solubilized them. Really cool stuff. This stability oven, let's see if I can open it. So you'll see there's always stuff on stability ovens. They're all around here. They accelerate aging so that you know whatever liquid's in there will look like, let's say, in a few years on the shelf. 1 year, 2 year shelf stability. Let's see, got that. This is a mini V blender. Now, V blenders are the only blenders that should be used in the industry for mixing. As
Why
you
is
see
that?
the V shape, because it mixes all the powder. What happens with a ribbon blender? You have a big rectangular box, and you have this ribbon, and they're used in baking. So the stuff that gets stuck in the corner doesn't get mixed well, and so you have inferior products. You have spikes in product, like if you have stimulants in there that could actually kill somebody. V blenders are the way to go. We use huge ones that are, have thousands of pounds capacity, but this is the one we use in the lab to get effective mixing.
A pilot batch tomorrow of the water-soluble vitamin for the multivitamin pack. And this is 5 kilos and just
Why is it orange?
riboflavin and folic acid. Just going to make sure
Jack,
that...
a day to drink some of that.
So show them what you're doing over here.
I'm just making sure that the fill weight that I have on paper goes into the capsule.
Right, and it's always good to see too, because if it's in the capsule, because if the water activity is too high, I think over 4%, it would actually degrade that capsule, and it would melt and leak all over the place. This is one of my favorite machines because this validates a lot of this stuff. With these little glass bubbles you see here, there's 8 of them. They represent the digestive juices in the stomach, the hydrochloric acid and everything like that. So when we'll take a product, let's say some pills or whatever, we'll put it in here, we'll attach this, we'll hook it up to here, and we'll dunk it in there, and we'll know when this breaks down in your stomach, how long it takes. We tested the #1 selling vitamin on the market, and it had from 0 to 4% absorption. In fact, some of the pills that were in the dissolution baskets, after 4 days, they didn't even break down. Now what's happening is they're trying to put too much into too little. So when you take a bunch of minerals and you compress them with high heat, basically you're creating a rock. And they pass right through your system. So 0 to 4% absorption. So then we took our liquid vitamins and minerals that Lindsay just showed you over there, and they have 87 to 94% absorption, which is unheard of. But we want to give people something that truly works. And what we usually do here, and I'm real passionate about this, is when there's nothing good on the market, and I go, I got to make something that's actually healthy for us, that works, and make it to a super high standard, and then of course everybody likes it. It costs a little more, but trust me, it's worth it, because I think those other vitamins, most of them on the market, actually make you sick. They cause a lot of acid in your system, if you notice, if you ever take them. And to me, it's not about the money. It's about winning and beating out some of these billion-dollar companies. We were in a lawsuit with Red Bull. We were in a lawsuit with Monster. They're trying to slow us down. They do it legally, and it's a good thing that they're suing. The people go, oh, you should be worried. We're not worried, because if we didn't matter, then they wouldn't pay us mind. But they know, and they try to block us everywhere we go. For example, in Alaska, it's kind of cool. There's a distributor. He's allowed to sell Red Bull. He's allowed to sell Monster. But both Monster and Red Bull, their contracts prevent him from selling Redline. So they're very threatened by us, which is cool.
Doing something right, that means.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations, Jack, and all your success, and thank you for having me down.
Thank you. Thanks for coming down. It was great. Guys, thanks for coming to VPX. Hope you had a great time.